Caden James, and you're listening to Spearlit. Take your life to the next level. Stop playing small. It's time to light it up.
I know that there is somebody out there right now who is going to be listening to this, who has a dream, who has something they want to accomplish, but they don't believe they can. And the reason they don't believe they can is because they've heard naysayers. They've heard those people that they've shared their dreams with who weren't always supportive. Those people who didn't believe in them. But I'm here to tell you that I have met so many successful entrepreneurs who are right where you are right now. And some of them didn't even have an idea to start. They just knew they wanted to go down this path. They wanted to create something that was good for people, the planet, and for themselves. There is nothing wrong with you being prosperous. In fact, if you want to help the world, you should get as prosperous as you possibly can. Because the more you have, the more you have to give. And a lot of times people don't want to talk about money. They don't want to talk about success. They don't want to talk about these things because maybe they come from a small town where they haven't really seen that demonstrated a lot. But I want you to know that your dreams are inside you for a reason. You have this dream. You have this suspicion that you are meant for more because you absolutely are. Now, that's not to say that everyone has this massive calling and they need to be seen by a lot of people and they have to have a lot of fanfare around them. That's not the case for everybody. But I'm talking to you if you have a dream, something you're kind of nervous to tell people about. If you are nervous about telling people, that's because it's big. And the bigger it is, sometimes the scarier it is. But if you just take one small step each day, send out one email, put out one resume, write one page. If you do just one act each day consistently, you will see that you are climbing a mountain. You are moving forward in the direction of your dreams step by step. And that mountain that you're climbing won't feel as challenging. Because you're taking action. You're not just looking up at it, thinking how daunting it is, but you're actually putting yourself in the process. Now, so many people wait to put themselves in the process. They don't take those first initial steps. And the reason they don't do it is because of fear. They fear that they're not good enough. They fear that they're not capable. They fear that they don't know the right people. They fear that they don't have the knowledge. But these are all things you gain as you take that first step and that second step and that third step and you lose track of what step you're even on. As you take those steps, there will be people and circumstances placed in your path that will help you get there. Martin Luther King used to say that there was this force called cosmic companionship. When you are following your heart, when you are doing the things that light you up, you will have guidance, you will have miraculous moments, and you will have companionship. Too many people get to the end of their life and they haven't even started. They regret this. In fact, this is one of the greatest regrets that people have, is they think, I should have tried. I should have gone for my dream. And there's no greater pain in this life that I can think of that is greater than the pain of regret, knowing you had more to offer, you had more you could have done, that you didn't give it all you had. Because none of us are making it out of this life alive. So leave it here. Give your best to this world. You have nothing to lose. Your playing small robs the world of everything you're capable of becoming. So take the first step. Doesn't have to be hard. I want to talk to you now about a few ideas you can implement over the next week to help you uncover what it is that lights you up. These may seem very simple, and they are, but many people won't actually do it. So I'm hoping that you'll be one of the few who actually does. Method number 1. I want you to write down all of the most amazing moments that you can think of throughout your life. This is a fun process to just do in general because we forget often some of those miracle moments and those things that just delight our spirit and our hearts, and we don't often look at it. So take some time this week to write down some of those amazing memories and moments, but make them specific. They don't have to be long. You don't have to write paragraphs about these moments, but just what you were doing, who you were with, what was happening, how it felt. You can keep them really brief. And then after you've listed these out, I want you to look at that list and I want you to notice if there are any correlations between what you were doing and how you were feeling. Those moments were poured on the page for a reason. So I want you to look for the connections. When I've had people do this in the past, some have realized that they loved being on the water. Whenever they were around a lake or a body of water, they just loved it. They really enjoyed that. And that was something that they weren't really sure about before. And I've had people become Coast Guards because of it. People have left their 9-to-5 to become a veterinarian because of this process. People have become teachers. They've found things that light them up. And for those who say being a teacher can't pay you, that is so not true. That's so limited. Yes, teachers are underpaid in this country, but a teacher who's also an entrepreneur, a teacher who is teaching to a larger audience out there in the world, a teacher who is learning to captivate an audience of 16 and 17-year-olds after a lunch break is someone who can start a business, create a podcast, write a book, and do any number of things. Don't limit yourself because you think the money isn't there. You can make a lot of money doing a lot of different things. And yes, some of these things will be a hobby for you. But knowing what lights you up is so important in leading you down the right path for you. Now, we want to design our lives instead of living by default. So many people in the world are living by default. The difference between living by default and living by design is that design means you reclaim your power. You are no longer just an employee, you're a contributor. You're somebody who is offering value to the world in a much bigger way because you're using your gifts to serve. The next method I want to share with you is taking money out of the equation. If money were no object, what would you be doing? And a great way to visualize this is to say that you won the lottery and you never have to work another day in your life. Then project yourself 3 years into that. Because after 3 years of laying around beaches and sipping pina coladas and traveling the world, you're going to want to serve. You're going to want to contribute. You're going to want to give back. You're going to want to share. And maybe you've already done that within those 3 years. But I'm just saying, after 3 years, you're definitely going to want to get back to work because we all have this desire within us to grow. If you look at nature, nature is always growing. It's always growing to its full potential given its circumstances, but it always has the desire to expand and grow. You plant a seed in the ground, and if it's fertile soil, it'll grow to its full potential. If it's placed in shallow soil, and it's not given the nutrients it needs or the water, it's not going to grow nearly as well as it would if it had the right conditions. So by doing this practice, you're giving yourself the conditions you need. Now let's imagine you in perfect health and vitality and having all the resources you need to thrive completely in the world. How would you most like to serve? That is the question. This is something we can brainstorm. It's something we can journal about. But getting really clear about what most delights our spirit will really help us move in that direction. The problem I see for a lot of people is they get taken off their path. They start to chase the money. They think, oh, this will make me rich, so I'm going to run down this path. And they often stray from what they're really meant to do, from the calling within their heart. Now, we have multiple callings, and I don't think we have just one purpose in our lifetime. It wouldn't make sense if a basketball player who's pro, if that was their only calling, then what do they do when they're in their 50s and they're retired? That doesn't make sense to me. I think that we have different callings placed on our lives at different times, and there's different seasons within our lives. So I think getting in tune with what would my highest self do if I had everything I needed, I think that that's a powerful thing to really understand about yourself. And even if you can't leave your 9 to 5 right now, I get it. We do have needs, and we need to have those needs met. And I am not one of those coaches that'll tell people, quit your job on the spot. No, I think it's better to phase out. Do it in a dignified manner. Always give 2 weeks notice and be kind and respectful of people's time and energy and help people out. We don't want to cut things off or burn any bridges. We want to build bridges. We want to help people. And when we're really rooted in our heart and we're doing things from that place of love, we can't really go wrong. In any given circumstance, if we ask, what's the most loving thing I could do? Not only for myself, but for everybody. It's often the same answer. What's the most loving thing I could do in this situation? Sometimes it's to take a little break. This is something I've done with social media recently. I took 10 days off social media. I came back just to promote a podcast episode I had done, but I'm taking a break again because I find that my work is better when I stay laser focused on the mission and I don't get distracted. And for me, social media over the last 20 years of non-stop social media, I had no idea what the impact was. Now, this is something I'll talk about more in the future. But for now, I just want you to really get clear about what it is that lights you up. That thing that just makes you so happy. And when you look at that page full of things, it's those moments that you were just full of bliss and joy or peace and serenity. What you were doing in those moments, I want you to do more of that. I want you to lean more in that direction. And if you have noticed that you have strayed from your path due to financial reasons, like I said before, that's one of the biggest reasons that people go off their path because they're trying to create a sense of security. So sometimes people will stay at a job way too long because it's providing them a level of security. But if they believed more in themselves and then asked for what they felt worthy of, or if they put out some resumes for a job they really wanted, or if they started a small business in their garage and built it into an empire. I have an old boss who did just that. She started in her garage. People thought she was crazy. And she made a multi-million-dollar company. And it's now an empire. And she's created several other companies after that. She's a total inspiration and an amazing rock star of a human being. And she's also so humble, so beautiful, so kind on every level. She's really doing it. I'm so proud of her. Nikki, if you're listening, I think you're a badass. So that is what is possible when you follow your passion, when you listen to your intuition, and when you take the first step. The first step will be challenging. And there'll be other steps. There'll be other tumbles and falls and stumbles and roll down the mountain a little bit. There'll be moments of that, but it'll be worth it in the end because it's not about perfection. It's about progress. And as we keep moving forward, as we keep getting back up and crawling even when we can't walk, as we keep moving ourselves forward, we will be an inspiration to others. And at the end of our lives, we can be very proud of ourselves, knowing we gave it all we had. So I leave you with this. At the end of your life, don't have the regret of wishing you had done it, of knowing that you could have tried harder, you could have given more, that you have so much inside you that you never fully manifested into this world, because that regret is too heavy to bear. Release yourself from that regret right now and take the first step. And if you could use some help on that path, reach out to us at support@spearlit.com. We are here for you, and I am rooting you on. Go for it.